children, we have finished the chapter absorption by roots. I hope you have sent the marks, and next chapter for us to discuss it is the chapter number 6, photosynthesis. Okay, photosynthesis, the term you are learning from the lower classes, from the small classes. You know that photosynthesis is possible in the case of autotrophs. Autotrophs are the plants which prepare its own food since it has got the pigment called chlorophyll. So such plants we call it as autotrophs. So photosynthesis is possible. So this is a physiological process. Photosynthesis is a physiological process. What do you mean by photosynthesis? Plants, green plants able to prepare their own food by using carbon dioxide, water, and green plants means the chlorophyll is present in presence of sunlight, and minerals, water and minerals absorbed by the root, everything. In the presence of all this, plants are able to prepare their own food. That process is known as photosynthesis. So photosynthesis has got like a different significance. So what are the different significance? You know that I have told you only the autotrophs are able to prepare their own food. Another group of organisms are we called as heterotrophs. So heterotrophs do depend on this autotrophs for their food. So what are the significance of this photosynthesis? Significance number 1, or the scope of this one, photosynthesis. First one, the most important one is that plants are able to plants can prepare the food for them as well as the other organisms. So other organisms are directly or indirectly depending upon the plants for their food. That is the first and main important significance of photosynthesis. Another one it is, you know that plants can during the process of photosynthesis, plants do take carbon dioxide. So during the process of photosynthesis, as carbon dioxide is taken in and oxygen is given out, this oxygen is the respiratory gas. It's required for all organisms. Carbon dioxide for photosynthesis, that's only in the case of plants, whereas the oxygen that is released as a result, as a byproduct of photosynthesis, this oxygen is taken in by plants as well as animals. All living organisms do take this oxygen in order to have this process, physiological process called respiration. So what is respiration? You have learned in the lower class. So these are the two main significance of this photosynthesis. In the case of, if you take the case of photosynthesis, how these plants are able to synthesize their own food, how is it possible? You know that like animal cell, plant cells are also there. Plant cells have got certain features that is exclusively there in the case of plant cells. So you have learned cell organelle. What are cell organelle? Cell organelle are the constituents of the structures present inside the cell which perform certain functions. We call cell organelle. So what is it? Certain structures that is present inside a cell that performs a particular function, we call it as cell organelle. Chloroplast is a cell organelle. Chloroplast is present in the case of plant cell and it is a cell organelle. And this oval shaped structure, it has got an oval shaped structure which with double membrane. So two membranes are the outer membrane and inner membrane, oval shaped and with double membrane. And inside the chloroplast you can find certain sac-like structures. These sac-like structures are arranged in pile. These sac-like structures we call it as thylakoids. The sac is known as thylakoid. And the arranged pile, so you can see one pile over here, another pile over here. Each pile we call it as granum. So many piles together we call it as grana. Okay, so the number of these piles vary from plant to plant, varies. It's not a fixed number, it varies. And you can find that this inner ground, that is inner substance, you can find here. Inner substance we call it as matrix, we call it as stroma. Ground substance we can call it as stroma, and here the connected each granum is connected to each other by a membranous structure is known as stroma lamellae. So here you can see all these are membranous structures. Here is a sac-like structure, thylakoid, and this thylakoid, you can find that the sac-like structures are arranged in pile, we call it as granum, and many are there, 1, 2, 3, 4 are there, and 5 are there, this each one 5 grana. Okay, inside this, and you can find this ground substance or matrix is known as stroma, and this stroma it's connected, this grana is connected, each granum is connected to another granum by stroma, membranous structure, another membranous structure, it is known as stroma lamellae. So here you can find that inside the thylakoids where we can find this chlorophyll, the another biomolecule, chlorophyll. So chlorophyll, the biomolecule which is solely responsible for photosynthesis in the plants. Chlorophyll is made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen and magnesium. So it is present. So different types of chlorophyll it's there. Like most common chlorophyll is chlorophyll A. Chlorophyll A. Then chlorophyll B also is there are different types of chlorophyll, and this chlorophyll can trap sun's energy. No other biomolecule can trap sun's energy. This chlorophyll can trap sun's energy. How does this process of photosynthesis, how is it taking place? The process of photosynthesis, you will learn it later. You have to understand that this biomolecule is able to trap sun's energy, and as it traps sun's energy, so you know that sun's radiation, sun's white light has got visible spectrum. It has got colors like VIBGR, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. In that blue and red, absorption is maximum. You can find absorption of blue and red, whereas this green light is just reflected back. That's why leaves are green in color. So where can you find as a whole in definitely in animal cells you will not find this particular cell organelle or chloroplast. It is present only in the case of plant cells. More you can find in the case of leaf. So here I have just drawn the diagram of a leaf TS. TS means transverse section. I have taken a leaf and I just taken a thin slice from that leaf by keeping it vertically. Keeping the leaf vertically, just taken as a thin section, that is transverse section. So here you can see that this is the upper epidermis and this is the lower epidermis. Upper epidermis means the epidermis. Epidermis, you know, the outermost layer of cells in the plants, it's known as epidermis. The epidermis that is facing upper side is known as, in the case of dicot leaf, the one which is facing upper side is known as upper epidermis, and the lower side it is known as lower epidermis. You can, I am just talking about dicot leaf, okay, not monocot leaf. There the situations are different. Now in the case of dicot leaf, this below the upper epidermis you can find the cells which is arranged without much intercellular space. What is intercellular space? There is a space between the cell. It is known as intercellular space. So here you can find two rows of cells which is arranged, parenchymatous cells which is arranged without intercellular space, and below that you can find the cells which is arranged with much intercellular space. And see there inside, so here you can be, these are all the intercellular spaces, parenchyma only, intercellular spaces. So inside the cell, inside the, so this kind of first two rows which is known as palisade cells, and loosely packed, this is tightly packed, compactly packed, and this is loosely packed, these cells are known as spongy cells. Both of these palisade cells and spongy cells together we call it as mesophyll cells, mesophyll cells. So I just want to tell you that this chloroplast is present inside the palisade cell. It's a cell organelle. Already I have told you it's a cell organelle. This like all the cell organelle will be there in each cell. So here I have highlighted only the chloroplast, the cell organelle, which is responsible for, this is cell organelle which is responsible for the photosynthesis. Here you can find in palisade you will find more chloroplast, whereas the spongy cells less number of chloroplasts. And now coming to, so this is enabled, so you can find this chloroplast in the leaf, more amount of chloroplast, and certain extent green stem also you can find this chloroplast. Okay. So green colored pigment, it is present inside the chloroplast. Now see, in the lower epidermis you can find another structure. This structure is known as stomata. Stomata you can find here. Stoma is a singular. Okay, so the stoma is opened over here. You can find in the lower epidermis one stoma is open near the vascular bundle. This is a vascular bundle. Near the vascular bundle one stoma is opened and kept. And what is the function of stomata? What is the function of stomata? Mainly, main important function is gaseous exchange. So gaseous exchange means during the photosynthesis carbon dioxide is taken in and oxygen is given out. That is one function. During the respiration oxygen is taken in and carbon dioxide is given out. Okay. So for all organisms, generally children do make mistake. All organisms do take oxygen for its respiration. Plants to take carbon dioxide for its photosynthesis. Okay, so that this process known as gaseous exchange, it is possible through the stomata. Another function, when the stomata is open, lot of water is lost from the aerial part. What is aerial part of a plant? Leaf, stem, etc. we call it as aerial part. Okay, so stomata, when it is open, water is lost as water vapor. This process is known as transpiration. So transpiration is possible, gaseous exchange is possible, all because of the presence of the opened stomata. Okay, so we then why are we highlighting on this transpiration? Transpiration is a necessary evil. I have told you this earlier. Necessary evil. Why do we call it as a necessary then evil? Because transpiration is bringing out a condition that loss of water is taking place. At the same time, to replenish that water, more water is being absorbed from the root, along with that the mineral nutrients also it is absorbed. So both the purposes taking place, that's absorption of water as well as the absorption of mineral nutrients. So here you can see the bigger view of this stomata. This we can call it as stomatal apparatus. Once during the board examination, this term stomatal apparatus is not given in your textbook. Once during board examination 2 years back, the stomatal apparatus, that word was asked. So just make a note of it. Here you can find a guard cell. So here guard cell with or without subsidiary cell. See the cells around the guard cell, this we call it as subsidiary cells. So guard cell with or without subsidiary cells, it is known as stomatal apparatus. Okay, stomatal apparatus. So subsidiary cells are there, and this is again the stomatal apparatus of stomatal apparatus that is present in the dicot plants. I hope you know what is dicot plant. What are dicot plants? Plants which has got, if you see the seed of a plant, if it has got two cotyledon, okay, two cotyledon, we can call it as pulses. Two cotyledon will be there, no, in the seed. So such plants we call it as dicot plants. Okay, dicot plants. What are monocot plants? Only one cotyledon. Like in the case of rice, you see, you cannot make two splits. Whereas gram you can make two splits. So that's how you differentiate between dicot and monocot. Gram is dicot and grass is monocot. Now see here in the guard cell, this is a shape, bean shaped guard cell. Guard cell has got bean shape in the case of this one dicot. And see here the peculiarity is just a cell. So the nucleus is there, chloroplast is there, all cell organelles are present. And here you can find the inner wall and outer wall. Inner wall of the guard cell, it is this a guard cell. Guard cell is thick, whereas the outer wall is thin. Okay, inner wall is thick, this side also inner wall is thick and outer wall is thin. This is the anatomy of stomatal apparatus. Now, this particular anatomy, that is thick inner wall and thin outer wall, enable the plants to have a lot of respiration, gaseous exchange as well as transpiration that is made possible because of this particular feature that is found in the case of stomata. Stoma is singular, so through which as it is open, gaseous exchange as well as the transpiration becomes possible. Now, what is making the opening and closing of stomata? There are two theories, potassium ion concentration theory and sugar concentration theory. potassium ion concentration theory. So in this theory, you know that during the daytime, even otherwise during the daytime, plants are able to prepare its food. Prepare its food means glucose, okay, isn't it? C6H12O6. So glucose is prepared. As a result of this, more ATPs, that is the energy currency, ATP, adenosine triphosphate, more ATP is produced, energy rich molecules, okay. So by using this energy rich molecule, more amount of potassium ions, K plus ions, are absorbed taken in from the neighboring cells, from the neighboring subsidiary cells into the guard cell. As a result of it, what happens? Here the solute concentration increases. Here means inside the guard cell, the solute concentration increases. So when the solute concentration is increased, what is the probability over here? Osmotic pressure increases. As a result of it, from the neighboring cell means subsidiary cell, from the neighboring cell, the water enters into the guard cell. So guard cell is getting here, guard cell has got maximum amount of water. Cell became turgid cell. It has got maximum amount of water, which results in the slow pushing up. So what happens, as the cell has got maximum amount of water, outer thin wall slightly it's moving outward slightly, and which is followed by the very minor movement of the inner wall to outside, okay, which creates the opening of the stomatal aperture. Stomatal aperture is slowly opened. This happens during the daytime when there is the photosynthesis when there is photosynthesis. Okay, during night time, what happens? There is no photosynthesis. As a result of it, energy rich molecules are not present. As a result of it, this potassium reversal of the process takes place, and the water also lost, and the closure of the turgid cell became flaccid cell, and the closing of the stomata takes place. So this is what is this theory. It's the proposed potassium ion concentration theory. This is the potassium ion concentration theory. It's an important topic. Then next one is sugar concentration theory. What is sugar concentration theory? Similar one only. Here during the process of photosynthesis, during daytime, the photosynthesis takes place, which results in the synthesis of glucose. Mainly glucose later get converts into starch. Okay, so mainly it is glucose only. This glucose increases the like the osmotic concentration of that. So this photosynthesis is taking place even in the guard cell, since it has got the chloroplast. Chloroplast is present inside the chloroplast. Inside the thylakoid, the chlorophyll is present. Okay, so where is it present? This chloroplast. This is the chloroplast. Inside the chloroplast, where is the chlorophyll molecule present? Inside the thylakoid. Okay, since in the guard cell, the chloroplast is present, so chlorophyll is present, so photosynthesis is possible. As a result of it, what happens? Lot of amount of glucose is made, and this extra amount of glucose that is made results in the increasing of the solute concentration, hence absorption of water from the neighboring cells, and here the cell become turgid during the daytime. Turgid cell, what happens? If the guard cell is turgid, what happens? The outer thin wall moves outward, and followed by the inner thick wall slightly move apart, which opens the stoma. Okay, during night time, what happened? There is no same thing. There is no photosynthesis. As a result of it, the chances of having the increased solute concentration is less. And what happens then? Here the water moves away. Then the cell became flaccid, and the closure of the stomatal aperture. So this theory is known as sugar concentration theory. So these are the two theories proposed by various scientists to explain the process of opening and closing of stomata, which enable the opening of closing of stomata controls the main physiological function of photosynthesis, because carbon dioxide intake as well as oxygen, removal of oxygen takes place. So photosynthesis is possible because of the opening and closing of stomata. Respiration is possible because of the opening and closing of stomata, and transpiration is also possible because of the opening and closing of stomata. So this is the opening and closing of stomata as a whole. It is a very important process. So that's all for today, children. Let's meet in the next module. See the video 3-4 times so that you will learn the concept. Okay, thank you.